Speaking of the unluckiest man on planet Earth, is it time to talk about the Odyssey?
Oh, Odysseus.
Yep, we're talking about the Odyssey. Now, I'm dying to know. We did a gimmick with this.
We did.
We each read a different translation.
Yep.
And I would like to know which translation you read now, please.
And so the ones we put on there were Robert Fagel's, which got 0 votes, which you read.
Yes.
We put the I don't really care option, or the 2 different translations and compare option. That's the one that won.
Yeah.
The other ones are Emily Wilson's translation and Stanley Lombardo's translation. And I read Stanley Lombardo's translation.
Ah, okay.
Is what I would say if my wife listened to this podcast, because she wanted me to read that, and then I was like, wait a minute, she's never going to hear what I have to say about it, and that's a lot of work. So instead, Ben, I read the Gillian Cross translation.
I'm not familiar with that translation.
With illustrations by Neil Packer.
I knew there were going to be pictures.
No, you did.
Yes, I did. I told you how much of it was illustrated. I said how much of it was illustrated.
You said, what, is it a pop-up book? And then you didn't tell me not to do that. I mean, it's not a pop-up book, but I was like, well, that's the closest I'm going to get.
So it's aimed at readers ages 8 to 12.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So you didn't read the Odyssey. Like,
no, I read the Odyssey. I read the Gillian Cross translation of the Odyssey, Ben.
I don't think this is a translation of the Odyssey.
I think it's maybe, a reconceptualization. In cooking school, when you're like, I did a deconstructed pie, and it's like a bunch of graham crackers and next to like some fruit filling. That's this book, Ben.
This is a retelling. This is not a translation.
There you go.
So you didn't read it. You had to read.
I read a book.
No, you had to read
the Odyssey.
So I think you actually have failed this one. I think you've played yourself, because I don't think you can say that you chose a translation of the Odyssey. You chose an adaptation of the Odyssey. You might as well have watched that terrible movie with Brad Pitt.
Oh, that was Troy, though. That's the Iliad.
Yeah. Well, Christopher Nolan's coming out with a sequel.
Is he really?
He's doing the Odyssey.
Okay, yeah. I should have just watched that. When's that come out?
I don't know. Okay. You still think this is going to be 3 parts?
Yeah, Ben. Let's do it.
So, why did you choose your translation?
Because I saw if you're on the Amazon page,
I am,
and you scroll down to print length, and you compare that.
I knew you did this. Like, I knew you were going to do this.
You did.
I called you out so many times. You knew it because I kept asking you. I'm like, which translation? You wouldn't tell me. And I'm like, how many pictures does it have? And you wouldn't say. You're like, I don't know anything about pictures. You'll just have to wait. And it's like, yeah, obviously you're reading a children's book. This is what I read, Nate.
My book is significantly larger than yours.
This is my head for scale.
It's not as thick, but it's much larger, Ben.
This is, all told, 541 pages.
Yeah. It's a lot of content. That's easily a 3-parter, Ben.
If I do all the work.
No, I'm here for you. I can tell you the difference between our translations.
Okay, well, I'll tell you why I picked my translation. I guess.
Is that the one you read in high school?
No, I didn't read the Odyssey in high school. Really?
That is the one I read in high school.
No.
I have a feeling I'm going to be drawing a lot
yeah.
on that.
So I actually read specifically the Robert Fagel's translation with, I read the Penguin Classics Deluxe Edition. with an
Fancy.
introduction and notes by Bernard Knox. So part of the reason I chose this is Fagles is a pretty generally accepted good translation that balances the readability with the accuracy. There are more accurate translations. There are more readable translations.
There are more readable translations. I can confirm.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, some that even an 8 to 12-year-old could stand.
There's a lot of horrifying looking beans in this book, Ben. I don't know
the pictures aren't the problem.
They're all
the fact that it's not the text of the Odyssey is the problem. You can add all the pictures you want, but you should still have to read the text of the Odyssey. No, so I chose it for that, and I chose this specific version of it because I actually really liked the introduction. I think it gives you a good breakdown of which manuscripts we actually know the Odyssey from, a little bit about the translation philosophy, a little bit about ancient Greek. I know one of the things that came up in my old Norse class was whenever anybody said something was hard, everybody in the class said, you don't get to say something's hard unless you've tried to learn ancient Greek. They apparently have a word mutation for absolutely every possible scenario you would want to use that word in. And they don't write vowels sometimes. So
why?
Space.
Is there a rule for just I don't want to do it? Oh, okay.
It costs a lot of money to write stuff down, and Hebrew did that a lot too. They don't write vowels in ancient Hebrew. Yeah, it's just most if you know the language, because that's the thing, you're not writing for the literate everyman. You're writing as a professional scribe to a professional scribe, probably. You'd have to be trained to read these things, so it's a little different these days. But the introduction in this goes well into that, and maybe the most important thing is the glossary at the back of all proper nouns with pronunciation.
So all that nerd shit.
Yes.
The stuff you love from Tolkien and from Frank Herbert.
Yeah.
Where you're oh, the original Dune, love that it was 800 pages. Those last 200 pages of just glossary and appendix, and that's what really did it for you.
So I have a thing. I've often said, and this is going to sound like I'm joking, but I'm actually not. I've often said I wish they would teach philosophy in high school, at least a little.
But I already knew everything I needed to know in high school.
You'd think that. And maybe you do. But have you ever thought about how you know that? How can you be sure you know that?
Why don't they teach me how to do my taxes?
Because the tax law is purposely complicated so that you have to pay the tax lobby to do your taxes for you.
My response is you wouldn't have paid attention anyway. You wouldn't have showed up to class, so shut the fuck up.
I think when you're learning about Beowulf and you're learning about the Odyssey, you should learn a little bit about how ancient texts work. How did it get from a couple of papyrus scrolls that may or may not line up, that were copied by a bunch of people and stolen from a library and imported into another library, and then meticulously preserved by Arab scholars, and then working their way back into the West during the Crusades? Learn all that stuff, because that's as interesting as the Odyssey itself, and
I might argue maybe more interesting.
Honestly, maybe more interesting. I think that's valid, but that'll also teach you. I've just noticed a troubling trend of people grifting on ancient wisdom.
The Liver King, right?
Well, yeah, his ancestral tenets. No, more the Stoicism bros. And
yeah,
I know that. I mean, the Bible's always been a big one. But if you don't want to do something as contentious as the Bible, I think the Odyssey is a pretty good case study to get you thinking about, well, now, how did we wind up with one consistent text when there are multiple different versions And by necessity, there have to be, because scribes make
I still want to
mistakes.
know when we decided that, like, we're done adding to the Bible. Like, this is the Bible. That's the end, and there's no other books in the series or new tales, I guess.
Well, there's an interesting thing there with the Bible, for an example. Now, you're not going to add to the canon after the Council of Nicaea. That's up to the church. Whatever's in the canon is what's in the canon. But you get things like the Dead Sea Scrolls, where somebody finds a bunch of texts hidden in a cave in the desert, and some of them contain copies of books that we know, but these copies are actually older and they differ slightly from what we had before. So there are versions of the Bible out there that
non-canon.
that are
count.
canon, that have incorporated the Dead Sea Scrolls in their translations, because it's not just a matter of translating, it's a matter of choosing an authoritative copy to translate.
Ben, I think that me reading my version of the Odyssey is actually going to really help your point out.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I think I did a good job.
Okay.
Picking my version. Yeah.
But no, I think it would be good to teach some of this stuff, and the Odyssey is a good example. Beowulf's not really a good example because we only have one manuscript. But think about how this information survives. Think about how it gets passed down. Think about how many hands it goes through. Think about how many editors it goes through, how many translators it goes through. Are you really going to do you care enough about this to learn ancient Greek and take a look for yourself at some of the manuscripts? Because I'll tell you, it's one thing to learn ancient Greek. It's another thing to try to read a manuscript. That's a skill by itself. That's a whole different kind of reading.
Yeah, do your own research, guys.
Well, understand what it would mean to do your own research. And then you might not be so cavalier with that phrase.
That applies to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing your own research is more than just a guy told me, or like I found a favorite.
I Googled a couple of blogs and I liked what this one said. No. Understand what it would actually entail to do your own research. Understand what it would actually take for you to read the Bible in its original form, or the Odyssey in its original form, the Stoic texts in their original form, and then debate slavishly over the nuances of what he meant by a specific word. But I've seen so many times where people get into fights about like what a passage of a Stoic philosopher might mean, and it's all a translation of a word that could be taken 6 different ways in the first place, translated into another word that could be taken 6 additional different ways. And I mean, it's interesting to know. It goes along with that. How do you know what you know? Why are you so certain that what you know is the truth? And I think there's an opportunity to teach that with stuff like the Odyssey. And I liked that this introduction, though it is lengthy, probably longer than the entire book you read, it gets into that. So how do you want to do this, knowing you haven't read the 24 books of the Odyssey?
I read a book.
I thought we were going to take it like one book at a time, one ancient scroll at a time.
Absolutely, yes. Let's do that.
Okay.
I think there's going to be something real interesting right at the beginning, actually.
Let's talk about right at the beginning. How does yours begin?
Well, first, I think you also wanted to mention how we were going to tackle this, right?
Yeah. I do a lot of really like granular analysis of Tolkien and Norse myths and stuff. I don't know much about Greek myth. I don't know much about ancient Greece or the Mediterranean. I don't know much about that part of the world in general. No more than any person who, took a couple of history classes. So I'm not going to dive real deep into what these things may or may not mean, what other stories they may or may not relate to, where certain digressions come from, because the Odyssey is like, I couldn't even tell you how many, maybe like dozens of different weird legends get peppered into the Odyssey that have nothing to do with the overall plot of Odysseus getting home. Like Odysseus will meet a guy and he'll be like, tell me who you are, who your family is, where you come from, why you're here, and they'll tell him they'll digress for 20 pages about a legend and a kingdom that has nothing to do with anything, and then that character's never heard from again.
Yep. I remember that, especially in the Iliad. The Iliad was real bad about that.
But that's how a lot of ancient oral tales go. So there's a lot you could say about going along with how do we know what we know. The Odyssey and the Iliad are usually attributed to the blind poet Homer. And there's a lot of problems with that. A lot of people think it was written by more than one guy. A lot of people think if it was written by one guy, or even if it was written by more than one guy, it's highly unlikely that they were blind, because there's a lot of good reasons to think there's no way you put together a story this long without paper. I think that's...
Well, I assume that was a thing, right? Because Tiresias is also blind.
Yeah, there seems to be a motif. That's one of the things I don't know a lot about. The idea that...
Got that third eye open.
Well, I think it's the idea that you're purely, like, without being distracted by the sight, you're more open to the muse or something. Because that's the other thing with Greek stuff, is they often invoke the muse, and the conceit here is that, like, I'm not telling the story, I'm channeling the story. The other thing with this, the argument for this not being a purely oral poem, is it would take you the better part of a week to, like, read this out loud to an audience.
Yeah, it's a bedtime story for, like, we got enough story here for the next month or so.
But I was going to say there's other evidence that it might be an oral tradition, because there's a lot of cheats for, like, buying time while you think of the next thing to say. There's a lot of identical sentences that are like, it's always like Dawn with her rose red fingers raised into the sky. You always say, like, a really long repeated description of, like, Pallas Athena, the bright-eyed goddess. You always introduce her with like that big long thing. Odysseus, that godlike man. There's all these little, like, stock phrases and lines and descriptions that you can use, so that you could just muscle memory, so that your brain can churn on, like, okay, what was the next part while you're still talking. And that tends not to happen as much in written poetry. So there's the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. Who's to say? Like, probably was an oral thing that got written down, got tweaked a little bit in the editing or in the writing. Who knows? I certainly don't. And I don't know enough about Greek myth to say necessarily why Pallas Athena is called Pallas Athena. I don't know enough to know why she's bright-eyed, or why. I think I know why Dawn has rose red fingers. I think that's like the little rays coming out of the sun. But
yeah, they use that a lot in my version. So, and I remember them using that when I was reading back in the day. So
yeah, there's a couple other weird descriptions that. Oh, there's another weird thing I noticed, and they actually talk about it a little bit in the introduction. I don't know if you'd remember this. They kind of mix up which age they're in. It's Bronze Age.
It's definitely the Bronze Age.
But they keep talking about iron all the time. Athena, when she drops Telemechus off, she's like, okay, now I'm going to take this and trade iron for bronze. And then they talk about being hard as iron, and having iron in your hand or something. Like there's constant references to Iron Age weapons.
Oh, okay. Early iron was often seen as inferior to bronze, but became popular due to its abundance and lower cost compared to importing tin rather than superior strength.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because without carbon, like you gotta, isn't it like to get the carbon into the iron to make steel, you need a like a super high temperature, and that
Yeah, I think that they had to make it a higher temperature to make it harder, right?
yeah, yeah, and so that takes like some specialized technologies.
I remember Bronze Age weapons were also not the greatest. I mean, I wouldn't want to be stabbed by one, but they could bend.
But the
So
cool thing about Bronze Age weapons is they're still around, while the iron
yeah, they look
steel weapons fall apart.
and they look cool as
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, they're awesome looking, and they're still around.
But yeah,
But you know, if you have a weapon, it doesn't need to be a weapon that like this is going to last 200 years. I just need to stab a guy right now.
yeah. But basically, from here on out, we're going to talk solely about the narrative of the Odyssey, the story.
Yes.
We're not going to talk a lot about the history, the text, or any of that. Consider this an introduction to the Odyssey that covers the entire plot. And then if I ever feel like doing all of the research that is basically a classics degree on its own, to do a proper
Yeah, you should get that degree
Odyssey
if you're going to
podcast.
do all that research.
Yeah,
You might as well get that degree while you're at it.
yeah, yeah. Then we'll do that. But that's not what we're doing today. So
All
now
right.
we can begin.
We'll probably want to follow your book.
Oh, you think?
And here's why. Yeah, I know. It's shocking. I know. But, so, I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been half my lifetime since I read this. But, it does not start at the end of the Trojan War. It, in fact, starts, he's on Calypso's island, and the suitors are already there in Ithaca. And how do you say it? Telemechus is how I always pronounced it.
Let's check my handy pronunciation guide. We're going to be doing that a lot. Telemechus. Yep.
Okay. And he's going to gather information about.
Yeah. Odysseus is really not in the first 4 books.
The first 4 books. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the Odyssey is wrapped. It's a surprisingly modern kind of storytelling, especially compared to like the sagas or something. It starts in more or less like the present and looks back 10 years to like the Trojan War ended 10 years ago. Odysseus set sail for home 10 years ago. And this is another thing that gets a little screwy in the story is like the geography's wrong a lot.
Yeah. Well, we didn't even know that Troy was a real place, right?
No, but we knew Egypt was a real place, and we knew how long it took to get from point A to point B in Egypt.
Yeah, that's fair.
But this guy who'd never been off his Greek island didn't know that. So there's also another time when they reference an island off the coast of Egypt, I think, that's like literally, if you look up pictures of it, it's still there. There's a bridge to it. Whereas he describes it as like you need to sail with a full wind at your back for a day to get to this. It's a mile away.
You could swim.
You could swim to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed, especially people walk to it now.
Yeah. Especially when Odysseus is over here swimming for days.
Beowulf does that too. Underwater.
Okay.
Got lungs like a seal, he does.
I know we talked about it, but I think we should read Beowulf.
We should.
At some point. Yeah.
So yeah, the first 4 books, it's been 10 years. Odysseus hasn't shown up. Nobody knows what the hell happened to him. His wife, Penelope, is basically, she is the key to the island kingdom of Ithaca. And all the surrounding nobles have sent their sons or themselves if they're single to try to seduce Penelope.
Yeah.
And they are the suitors. And Penelope has been playing a game for 10 years of not outright rejecting any of them, but not embracing any of them, and just delaying and delaying and delaying. And I'll be honest, I'm not super clear on why. I'm guessing because it would mean like they'd invade then if she doesn't pick one.
Yeah, I don't know why she doesn't why she rejects them. I know that she doesn't want to remarry, but she has to pick someone.
Yeah, I don't know why she has to pick someone. I don't know why Telemachus doesn't just become king, because he seems to be of age at this point.
If I remember correctly, I don't think he necessarily would just inherit the kingdom just because he's Odysseus' son.
Okay, so this is the stuff I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
that was not in my translation, by the way.
I didn't.
That's old knowledge that
I. There's also a couple of different marriage customs that come up, like the suitors are giving her gifts, but then at one point they mention a bride price that Telemachus would have to pay, or that Penelope's brothers would have to pay. So I didn't know, like, is that two different systems of marriage that are just sort of being like slapped together, or
I assume so. The gift is like, look at me, I can take care of you. I'm a big, strong man, but also like, you're going to be a burden on my household because you're going to eat my food. So
why don't we just call it
money,
even?
Please?
Why don't you not give me a gift and I not give you a gift, and we just call it even?
No, but then I can't jockey for a better gift over the other suitors.
But you don't give your wife gifts, right? What would be the point of that?
Because you love your wife.
Yeah, but like, she's just gonna like, that's not how a dowry works. Like, she's just gonna join your house, right, and then those gifts come back into your house.
Yeah, but like Telemachus has his own pool of money, presumably, and like, you need to pay me some money.
But they're not like paying Telemachus. They're taking Telemachus' money.
No, Telemachus is going to pay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm taking on this person who doesn't produce anything. Woe is me. Such a big burden on my household, so I'm going to need you to pay me some money to take care of your hot mom.
But also she gets to choose.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a conceit.
Yeah, and I give her gifts because I want you to know my gift is better than that guy's gift. So that's why you should pick me.
There's a lot going on with gifts and guest right. And I don't want to pick on just the Odyssey for this, because this is really inconsistent in the Norse stuff too. Guest right is really sacred until it's not sometimes.
Yeah.
And gifts are...
I learned that from Game of Thrones, Ben.
Yeah, okay. Gifts are really important until they're not sometimes. But whatever. So...
yeah, because these guys still have the guest right at the end when they are... slaughtered. Spoilers.
Well, then there's like Zeus is the god of guests, like the protector of the stranger. But then the people who are like
boy, you don't want him protecting strangers.
Well, because the thing is that like the people, the Phaeacians who are like the Phaeacians or whatever, who are best at taking care of guests, Poseidon gets mad at them, and Zeus is like, well, we got to fuck them up then. He's like, they helped Odysseus? Well, I guess we got to fuck them up. Yeah. And
yeah, that's just him passing the buck. Wow, I can't believe they did that. I had nothing to do with this, by the way.
It is him passing the buck, but like, what happened?
And also Zeus is going to protect people. Come on. Zeus transformed into golden light to get inside someone's pants.
He doesn't protect women.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I guess that's on me for thinking that women were people. But that's my bad.
Also, the Odyssey treats that as like he was doing them a favor.
I assume that Greek society treated that like, Ah, you got knocked up by Zeus? Your son is half god? That's pretty awesome. I mean, what were you going to do anyway with your life?
The morality of the gods is really inconsistent. I was happy to see that coming from Norse mythology, where the gods are basically just the worst people. So, some of the worst people in the stories actually are the gods.
Yeah, they sound pretty fucking terrible all the time.
Yeah.
At least with Greece, you sometimes get a good one. Like Athena seems pretty on the ball most of the time.
Yeah, I would say she's. I mean, if you're not a Trojan, I guess.
And they apparently made off pretty well in the end when they founded Rome.
Yeah, if that happened, if that wasn't just the Romans trying to sneak
claim Greek.
Yeah.
Claim that Greek heritage.
But yeah, so anyway, Penelope's got all these suitors, right? And these suitors have just been living at Odysseus's house, eating all his food. And keep in mind, this is the Bronze Age. We don't have a refrigerator, okay? If you want meat,
I'm gonna go slaughter your cow. And I'm gonna go.
The way we keep meat fresh is by keeping it alive.
Yeah.
So, if we want to eat meat tonight, we're slaughtering an animal. So, Odysseus, he had these herds when he left. He had many herds of cattle and sheep and pigs, and they are somewhat less because these dudes are eating like multiple animals per night.
Yeah, I'd do that too if I were a guest at someone's house and they didn't throw me out. Like, oh, you know what? I'm pushing those boundaries. We're gonna have meat every night.
Yeah, and so you got to figure it takes, a good 5 years to raise one animal to, the point where you'd want to eat it.
Well, if it helps, I'll be here for like a decade. So,
yeah, but if you're eating one a day, and I need 5 years to replace it, you kind of see the problem here.
That sounds like a problem for you. If my food and drink run out, it's going to be real bad for everyone.
Yeah, it's weird that they can just keep doing this. There's got to be some threat of force, right? It's got to be like they're going to invade Ithaca if we don't keep them happy.
It sounds like they probably don't even need to invade. They just need to
eat.
Like stab Telemechus and be like,
well, they do
any
eventually.
Objections?
They do eventually figure that out. They do eventually start thinking about stabbing Telemachus. But the first 4 books, and the reason it's divided into books, I think, is because a book roughly corresponds to a scroll. I think the Odyssey was originally preserved in 24 scrolls. I could be.
My version had chapters.
Yeah, I bet. Did it have 24?
It's a good question. I should go count them next time.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess no.
So I was thinking for this episode, we get through... This is how I was thinking about dividing it. You tell me if this makes sense. We get through Telemachus in the beginning. And the next episode, we do like the Odyssey. And then the last episode, we do
the ending with
the Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Odysseus Unchained.
Odysseus Unchained.
Where he just kills every suitor. That was my thought. But yeah, so it picks up with Odysseus is on Calypso's island. He's been stuck there for years. Odysseus has a problem I think every man can relate to. And that's he just can't stop running into hot, magical women who want to make him their husband.
Same.
And Calypso, one of those, and she's just not letting him go. So he's stuck. There's nothing he can do. He just got to keep banging Calypso and crying himself to sleep.
Damn it.
And it's been 7 years. The bulk of the problems happened in like the first part, and then he's just sort of been banging Calypso for 7 years. But he's been doing that because Poseidon Poseidon's really pissed at him for some reason nobody can remember. I don't think Odysseus did anything like rash or extreme, and then shouted his name and
that was maybe the part where he fucked up.
So that everybody would know he did.
He had a perfect plan where he was going to get away with it, and then right at the end he was just you just had to shut your mouth and you would be fine. You'd be home banging your wife instead of a hot god.
You know, when you put it like that. When you put it like that, Odysseus wonders if maybe Odysseus didn't do the right thing. No. Odysseus will eventually get out of Calypso's island because Poseidon goes to Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Where they're sacrificing to him, and he wants to hang out and enjoy that. So he's just not around, and Athena sneaks in. She's like, let's go. Come on. He's not looking. Let's go. But Athena's got a lot of plans. So her first plan is she's going to talk to Zeus, and she's like waiting for Poseidon to walk out the door. He's telling everybody he's going to Ethiopia. He'll be back in like 3 weeks. And as soon as that door closes, Athena turns to Zeus, and she's like, so Odysseus, he's been having a really rough go of it of late. And, we all like him. What if we get him off that island? And Zeus is like, yeah, I do whatever the last person I talked to said. That's the kind of guy I am.
It's about how it goes in my version too.
Yeah, Zeus is very like go with the flow kind of god. He's like, Athena, you want to get Odysseus? Yeah, I love Odysseus. Poseidon, you want to fucking smash Odysseus? Yeah, we got to smash Odysseus. I don't.
Look, I am God version of Bill Clinton. I don't want to get tied up in a war. I just want to do my gross stuff, and I don't want wars getting me bogged down.
But I'm tough on crime.
Say whatever you want me to say. Yeah, there you go.
Tough on crime.
Yeah.
I think it's the same.
Odysseus been punished enough?
Yeah. I think so. I think we should punish him more. Definitely punish him more. Poseidon's not here, and Athena knows how to play Zeus. She knows not to get into a fight with Poseidon, and she is going to help Odysseus now. And part of helping Odysseus means setting the stage for his return. And in order to do that, she is going to help Prince Telemachus. You even said you even looked up the translation. It's Telemechus. You're right. She's going to help Prince Telemachus.
Yeah, because it is. If Odysseus shows back up in Ithaca, he's gonna be stabbed repeatedly by a bunch of angry suitors.
I'm not really clear on Athena's plan. I'm gonna be real with you.
That's why she's the goddess of wisdom, and you're a podcaster.
True. I was going to say, I'm told it's brilliant. Athena, she reminds me of a certain player in one of my D&D campaigns who realized they could do disguises.
Is this me?
It could be like 3 people.
I did do an awful lot of disguising in that seaside town.
You and Shy and Elton all get really into your disguises. Athena loves pretending to be other people And it's not always clear
It's fun.
why she
That's
needs to
why.
pretend to be other
Yeah,
people.
it's fun. I can't just show up and be like, "I'm Athena. I'm here to help you." No, you got to put on a disguise
Yeah, I gotta
first.
trick you. Assume like roughly half the time she's disguised as like uh, I don't know. I get the vibe the way Athena's described. She's always the bright-eyed goddess, Pallas Athena, who and I tried to look up. It came up so often I had to look up like why is she Pallas Athena? And apparently there's a couple different versions of why she's Pallas Athena, but my favorite one was that she had a childhood friend named Pallas who she would spar with. And Pallas was a pretty good fighter, and Pallas, she was getting the better of Athena. And Zeus wanted Athena to win the sparring match. So he took the shield Aegis, which was his at the time, and he like caught the sun and like reflected it into Pallas's eyes. And Athena, she blinded. She misses a block, and Athena stabs her, and she dies. And Zeus is like, "Ooh,
Whoops.
I'm giving you a new shield, Athena." Here,
Pallas was the daughter of Triton. Interesting. So this was in Disney canon. I'd pay to see that.
yeah. So Zeus, this is how Athena gets Aegis. Sorry, it's a sorry I killed your friend gift.
And he probably was he like, I mean, in my defense, like, you were the one who technically landed the fatal blow. That was, I only got the assist, okay?
And Shy theorizes that this is a sapphic thing, and
everyone's gay in Greek mythology.
Everyone's gay in Greek mythology, but to your credit, Athena then takes on the name Pallas for the rest of her life in memory of her friend.
Alexander the Great mourned his dead best friend.
Do you know how often Alexander the Great comes up on this podcast as a famous violent gay man?
What? That was just his friend, Ben. They were just friends.
They were just violent gay friends. Oh, so she's gonna go give Telemachus some advice. There's a lot here about mixing bowls. I have a lot of notes about that. I assume there's not a lot of mixing bowls in your all ages pop-up book.
No, actually, strangely enough, they just kind of they skimmed over that one.
I would love to know. I did not get a chance to look this up. What the fuck is going on with these bowls? I take it that they're mixing water and wine, and like water and honey and wine. Like they're mixing up like.
Apparently, the Greeks and later the Romans always drank their wine mixed with water, except for during certain rituals.
That makes sense because they drink it all the time. So you'd want to water it down a little, I think.
Yeah, and I'm reading that the wine back then was a lot more alcoholic and a lot more bitter. So we got to make this not taste like shit, because otherwise we're not going to want to drink it, and we're going to get real fucked up real fast.
That's sort of what I thought was going on, but I wasn't sure. So I wanted to address that because like mixing bowls are like essential to parts of this story. Like they're a silver mixing bowl is one of the prized guest gifts. So that actually makes a lot of sense why that would be so important. Athena's doing a lot of disguises, and there's a lot of mixing bowls and a lot of stuff, and she's like, so Telemachus, what you gotta do? You gotta go look for news of your father. And I think Athena's plan here is for Telemachus to travel a bit, for him to get out there and meet some important people, sort of introduce himself to society. I could be wrong, but
yeah, I wasn't really sure on like, you have to go learn more information about Odysseus. Why?
Well, I think she's trying to because he'll wind up meeting the king of Sparta,
Menelaus.
and he'll wind up meeting.
And that's crazy because I totally forgot Helen actually survives and comes back from Troy.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Awkward. In my translation, Helen is like, oh yeah, no, that was Aphrodite tricked me. And I think she says, in my translation, she says, what a shameless whore I was. And I was like, whoa, it's a weird way to talk about yourself, but also I'm sure it's not the first time you've heard somebody say that.
And it's probably better to say that and live. Yeah,
because
I can't imagine there were a lot of people real happy with you.
No,
I was unclear as to whether or not Paris kidnapped her or she ran away with him.
Welcome to the greatest conundrum in all of.
And I was looking it up because for some strange reason it's not in my version. And
the kidnap and the rape, that's not in your version with the pop-up book.
Yeah, no, it's not.
No, I didn't think so.
Yeah, it really could have been.
But yeah, so she wants him to go out. He'll meet Menelaus. He meets, who's the other guy? Nestor?
Does he meet Nestor?
Yeah, he meets two pretty important people. I mean, Menelaus is the one I think he spends the most time with.
And how Menelaus kidnapped fucking God, what was his name? It was a nymph's dad in Egypt, I think it was. And she tells him how to grab him because he's going to transform into a bunch of stuff. Oh, yeah,
he's got to wear a seal skin. And that's one of those stories that doesn't have anything to do with anything. They just go off on a digression where Menelaus is like, yeah, this is how I got off that island. I gutted a seal and I put on its flesh and I hid amongst the other seals till this old man came out. He was a god. Don't worry about it. He was a god and I tackled him. Me and the boys.
And then I held on real tight.
Me and the boys, we held on, choked the life out of this guy as he transformed into all kinds of shapes, Ben 10 style, trying to get out of this. And we didn't let him go. And so eventually he was like, the fuck do you want? And I was like, I want out of here. And he let us out of there. You keep traveling, Telemachus. You'll have some of these stories. You'll get to know what it's like to wear the flesh of a dead animal. They really put a lot of effort into describing how a seal smells. And
it was Nestor.
I appreciate that.
How did it smell?
Not good.
You know that's the story that like he was telling, and he had to really tell you, like, you had to know. We gutted this seal, we wore its flesh. You gotta know what it was like to be there.
Yeah.
The smell was very important.
My favorite digressions are the stories that Odysseus just makes up. When he's like in disguise and he just invents like a 9-page backstory for the character. Like he's going deep cover in the CIA or something. And like he's got a whole story about how this guy was like the son of a king who got sold into slavery. And, he went on all these adventures. He went to war 16 times and all this. And they're like, wow, no one with a story that elaborate could be lying. He's a genius.
Yeah. Except for that one thing where he really fucked up.
Yeah.
Some might say he probably should have just stopped and quit while he was ahead.
Story of Odysseus' life, though, isn't it? Like, there's a lot of times in Odysseus' life where he could have just stopped and quit while he was ahead. But he didn't. He kept going.
Goddamn right he did.
And he lost a fortune. Right. And then he gained a fortune. And then he lost a fortune. And then eventually Athena just gives him a fortune and tells him it's time to stop.
I wish they'd do that at Vegas,
Yeah.
Eventually someone just walks along and is like, here's a briefcase full of $500,000. You got to go.
So
you're done.
So anyway, we got to get through this. Athena tells Telemachus that
Telemechus.
I don't know why I keep putting the accent on the wrong syllable there. So she tells Telemachus, you gotta go look for news of your father. Get a ship, get some dudes, go visit Nestor.
This wasn't even in my version. Then.
Oh yeah, you keep saying that.
He saw Menelaus, and then he sailed back.
Yeah. So he goes.
Apparently, Nestor wasn't that important.
He's really not, actually. So he sets sail, but before he sets sail, he makes sure to go up to all the suitors, tell them how much he hates them, tell them he's going to go look for his dad so that he can find his dad and his dad can come back and kick their asses. And
it really works out well for him.
I mean, it does.
Okay, that's fair. He had God on his side, though. I mean, because they're like, okay, we got to get rid of this.
Yeah.
Guy, right?
So they're like, okay, yeah, he's not actually going anywhere. He's full of shit. This is like the 6th time this week he said he's going to kill all of us. And then they find out that he actually did get a ship and he actually did sail off to go meet his dad's powerful friends and find news of his dad. And they're like, this kid really is going to try to kill us. We're going to kill him first.
Yeah.
Round up the boys. Get them a ship. Have them go out and have them wait for him. And I understand that there's a relatively narrow passage you go through to get from point A to point B here. So their plan is to watch that passage and then attack him. And it's not really important that this all works out. It's myth, it's stream logic and everything. But what made me laugh was I was like, oh, here's a bad faith criticism. Like, Ocean's a big place. You're both in the same kind of ship. How are you going to catch him? And then if you catch him, what are you going to do? I mean, it's just as good a chance that he kills you as you kill him, or he just, goes around you. And I thought that was, like a pedantic little criticism of mine. But then, yeah, he just goes around them.
Yeah, he does. He just avoids them entirely. I don't know what the purpose of that was, but
that's one of those things that happens in myth.
It's one of those cheats, right? All right. So they're gonna go send some guys out, and while I'm talking about those guys, I'm thinking about what I need to tell you next.
I do like to imagine the oral storyteller gets to that point and they're like, oh, what about the guys who were going to ambush him? He's like, yeah, that I did set that up. Yeah. So they miss him.
Yeah.
He Pallas Athena comes to him and she warns him that there's that bright-eyed goddess, Pallas Athena, Dawn with the rose red.
That's what she does.
Dawn with the rose red fingers.
Hey, don't go over there. The boys are.
She's like,
there.
What you're gonna want to do when you sail home is you're gonna want to like veer to the right,
the long way. Yeah, take the long way, and I know it'll put like an extra 30 minutes on your commute, but trust me, you're gonna thank me later.
Yeah,
you better thank me later. I'll fucking kill you if you do not thank me later.
Pour libations, burn the thigh bones. All that stuff we do.
That stuff we do.
Well, the thing is, like, the gods, and this is another, all mythology is like this, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. But, like, the gods, they could just come down and eat with you if they want. You gotta burn the thigh bones to send the smoke up to Olympus. You just gotta...
Yeah, I mean, so can the president.
I'm not sure where you're going with that. I don't sacrifice thigh bones to the president, but so he goes to meet Nestor, and Nestor has some sons, and they're feasting, they're doing sacrifices, and I'll tell you, I don't really know super what point Nestor serves to the tale of the Odyssey, or if it's just a callback to the Iliad. People want to know like what happened to Nestor, but I love the detail of the rituals that you get in Nestor's chapter. Like, I love the feast. I love the pouring libations, how a guest comes into the feast, how they introduce themselves, the family structure, the way they make them up a bed, all that stuff. Like, that's all really like interesting stuff that I'm jealous of coming from Germanic mythology, where I don't know anything about the rituals or practices or anything about what they did.
They didn't have any. You don't come into my house. I don't have a guest room, and I'm not making you a bed. Fuck off.
But yeah, Nestor, he's a horse guy.
Yeah, just like the Rohirrim.
Yeah, and he's got chariots, and this is funny again to me, being a modern guy reading an old thing. I understand that the little doohickey that's pulled behind a chariot is called a car. I understand that that's why cars are called cars. But it is really funny when Telemachus and...
I did not know that, but I guess that makes sense. And I'd rather call them a car than an automobile.
Yes, that would be disastrous. But I love that Telemachus and Pisistratus hop in the car and go to Sparta. I enjoyed that quite a bit, because they're just two dudes who just got their license going on the classic road trip down to King Menelaus. Why did I go down to...
I don't know, you keep saying Telemachus, so
Telemachus. I'm sorry. You're right. I don't know why, because I don't like to put the emphasis in the middle.
It's rare that I'm the one pronouncing it correctly.
Telemachus.
This is strange. This is strange new territory.
It is. It's Greek. I'm not... I told you I'm not good at this. Telemachus. This whole book just makes you crave unseasoned meat. Everybody's always roasting something.
Unseasoned.
They don't. All they do is cut up an animal and put it on a fire. They put some barley on it sometimes.
Did they have salt? I assume they would, right? I mean,
you'd think. I don't know how available it was.
I mean, that's how you would preserve your shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how available it was for like a feast for 500 people that year.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, for 5 you get the ancient equivalent version of like Little Caesars at that point. Like I found this. I don't even know whose lamb this was. It looks kind of malnourished, but like I slaughter it, throw it on the fire. Let's go. I need to feed 500 people. I don't know if I can even do that.
No, I have to look at my pronunciation guide, because I have to say Telemachus, I can understand that. But
Agamemnon
I get. I know that one. Agamemnon. I could do Agamemnon. But it was Pisistratus that
that's how you say that? Oh my
Pisistratus.
God.
Yeah.
I would not have gotten that one.
No. And what's Circe's island? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I gave up on that one.
Yeah.
It's nothing but vowels. A-E-A-E-A.
E-E-A is what my guide says. Yeah, he goes to Menelaus and Helen. And they talk about Odysseus, and he tells him the story. So is this story is in your little picture book?
Yeah, except it's told as a sequence of events. So this is later in the book, not looking backward like the Odyssey actually is.
Oh, so like this in the Odyssey, this is happening while Odysseus, like right when Odysseus is getting off of Calypso's island. Or maybe a little after.
Yeah, around that time. But the one that I read starts with explaining the Trojan War and then the end of that war, and it just goes from there.
Okay. Well, so he's looking back. So, do you want to say what happened?
About Menelaus. Thought we were talking about Menelaus grabbing the guy.
Yeah.
The old man in the sea.
Yeah, but
wearing a seal carcass.
So I guess I'll ask, because this seems like one of those myths that, like, because this happens sometimes, especially in things that were like formerly oral traditions, where it's like, I know another story that would be a story on its own, and I'm gonna like roll it into this. And that seems like what this is. It seems like, because I swear I'm sorry, I'm looking for the name. Maybe it'd be better because I think I know the name. I want to make sure I'm referencing the right nymph.
Proteus and oh god, who was it was Proteus's daughter, right?
Yeah.
Proteus is the old man of this.
Oh, okay. Idothea.
There you go.
So Idothea and Proteus. So I gotta tell you, is I don't, and I'm sure there's gonna be people yelling at me in the comments, but this is one of those things I would have to research. I don't know what a nymph is.
That's a good point.
I gather they're divine. And again, I'm my Germanic wants to take over, and I'm like, is a nymph like an elf? Like god adjacent, but not quite.
It is a minor nature deity. Usually a hot lady.
So what is Proteus
but
then?
Taking on some like nature That's a good point. He used to be a hot lady.
How progressive.
Proteus refers to a genus of gram-negative bacteria, Ben.
Okay. That's probably not what we're looking for. There might be two etymologies there.
He is a deity of some kind. He is a son or minister of Poseidon. Oh boy, you don't want to fuck with those guys.
Okay. So minor deities. So I guess like the gods have lesser children that aren't gods.
Yeah. That's a nymph.
Okay.
But the nymph also has some sort of like nature characteristic, like the sea.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's involved in the sea. And this dude sits on an island and counts seals.
As you do when you got immortality and OCD. You gotta scratch that itch.
So, yeah, Menelaus gets stuck on an island. They're totally... I think this is the island that is supposed to be...
You could just walk to Egypt.
Yeah, like you could just swim back. But in the story, it's very far from land. And Idothea takes pity on them.
Well, you don't seem to realize this, Ben, but in the Bronze Age, it was much further away. It just drifted over time.
Yeah, it was a rapid continental drift. Yeah. So she takes pity on them. They're becalmed there. They can't get off this island. I guess they can't row either.
No, we can't.
Poseidon's mad at them.
God, he's always mad at someone.
A lot of people died at sea.
Yeah,
I think that's how they rationalize that. Is he's just
I think
not a happy
and
dude.
The seas can turn. Yeah, the seas can go from calm to like violent very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, Poseidon's not a happy guy, which is weird.
Should have burned the reefer to him. That would have
because in Tolkien, Ulmo, who is the Poseidon of the Silmarillion, really chill dude.
Yeah, no one died at sea in Tolkien, except for that one time.
Yeah, they do. Oh, yeah, they do.
Except for that one time, Ben. Or maybe 2 times. We did lose a continent.
A lot of people died in the sea. They didn't plan on being there. But regardless, so she tells, and this is a very mythology thing where it's like you got to do stuff and it's really not clear why you got to do stuff. It's just that's what you got to do, and that becomes the story, and it's fun to imagine, so that's what we do. She's like, what you're going to do is my dad can tell you how to get back and get off this island and get home, because the steps wouldn't be known to you. There's something you have to do that you know, it would not be obvious to you. And she's like, so what we're going to do, you got to catch my dad. He's like a ninja. You're going to have to catch him unawares. And you're going to need like 4 big dudes because he's very strong, my dad. Also, he can shapeshift into all kinds of stuff. And I think at one point he might shapeshift into water. That's when you're going to want to hold on real tight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, if I can shapeshift, first thing someone grabs me, that's the first thing I'm going to turn into, water or gas.
Yeah. What's that? Mist form. I float 30 feet away. No, so she's like, but to get close, we're gonna have to do some tricks. My dad knows every seal on this island. They're very precious to him. They go out and they eat, and then they come back and they lay down and they stink. That's what seals do. They eat and they stink. They smell like what they eat, and what they eat is ocean garbage. And so I'm going to kill 4 seals, and I'm going to put I'm going to put them on you like a tauntaun. And then you're going to pretend to be seals. My dad doesn't see so good, I guess. He's not going to notice that you're just a
It's like, why is there this huge trail and pool of blood? What's going on?
Not going to realize you're like a horrific murderer.
This is actually terrifying.
Wearing the skins of his children. But
and I assume he and his daughter are cool after this somehow.
Yeah, this is just like, oh, you always tricking me.
You got me. That was a good one.
Father-daughter prank. I think she can go like turn into like surf though. So if he's mad, she can just, be water for a while. I really latched onto this story. That's why I'm telling it in so much more detail. It's way more interesting than anything that happens to Telemechus. Telemechus is a glorified framing device, and I don't like him. Like as a person.
Yeah, I think at one point they even say like, you will go on to have your own stories, but they're not going to be as cool as your dad's.
Telemechus, the thing I don't like about him is he's really mean to his mom. And like, I don't understand her situation, I guess. I don't understand how this is her fault.
By being a woman.
Well, it's like, I don't know what he wants her to do. Reject them all, I guess.
I want you to not marry any of them, but also make them leave.
But can she
without
do that?
Getting our ass kicked?
I guess that's what the question I keep coming back to is that a possibility?
I want you to fix the problem because I'm out of ideas.
Step up and do some parenting, Mom. God, I hate you. You go hang out with the swineherd. He's the coolest. And he is the coolest. But no, so I got to finish telling you what happens with these seals, right? So this old man, he starts counting the seals, okay, as they walk in. So these guys, they got to pretend to be seals. They got to walk like seals. They got to flop like seals. But they're struggling because the smell of a seal is utterly repulsive. And they're going to die. Like, they're going to die from the smell. And then that's when Idathea comes and she gives them, like, she rubs some, like, literally like ambrosia or something under their noses, which I assume is like up in the seal head that they're putting on their face.
Yeah.
And so they each get that, and then they can like breathe. And so they get in, and he starts counting the seals, which is like the only thing he has. This is all he likes to do, is just count the seals. So he's counting them in. He gets the right number, and he's like, good. All is right with the world. I have the right number of, oh my God. And he's attacked by 4 men. And Menelaus is like, tell me how to get home, old man. Tell me how to get home. And he's like, I don't know who you are. What are you talking about? He's like, tell me how to get home.
Swear to me.
Kick his ass, boys. He's changing and everything. He changes into a seal. That doesn't work. He changes into an elephant seal. That doesn't work. Changes into a leopard seal. That is frightening. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those. But after he turns into water at one point, but after he's run out of water and seals, he's like, fine, I'll tell you how to get home. You go back to Egypt, and
It's right over there. You just walk.
You can walk there. You go back to Egypt, and you make a sacrifice to Poseidon, and then he'll probably let you go. And they're like, good. And they like spit on him. And they go back, and then they get home.
And they kick the seal's carcass on the way out. Fuck this seal.
I feel like Menelaus is turns to Telemechus at the dinner table, and he's like, I just want to tell you, man, I don't know where your dad is. I don't know what he's been doing. But no one had a harder time than Menelaus. Okay. So.
Hey, is there any chance you can sail for Ithaca and just kill all these suitors for me?
You know, that would make more sense, right? Like if he's going out to get like people.
Yeah, you're friends with my dad. My dad's household needs your help. He sailed for you. Get your stupid wife back.
No offense.
Asshole. Yeah, no offense.
No offense. No offense, Helen. But come on. I mean, she's the reason that like half of Greece is fatherless. Yeah. And so then we'll pick up with book 5.
Yeah, chapter 1.
Chapter 1. Where they're going to get him off Calypso's island. Now, I got to look. How do you pronounce? Because the Phaeacians. I was off.
Oh, I was way off, too.
Yeah, the Phaeacians. So, yeah, because most of the Odyssey, and I had forgotten this, most of the Odyssey is flashbacks to like all the stories I remember from the Odyssey are just Odysseus telling the Phaeacians, what he was doing all this time.
Yeah, I remember that, but my book was not structured that
way. Your book's making it seem like Odysseus tried a lot harder to get home. Probably would have been hard. I mean, hard to explain to the kids why he was on Calypso's island for 7 years.
Well, it does only talk about he was on Calypso's island for 7 years, but he was just crying a lot. That was it.
And then sometimes they'd wrestle at night.
Yeah, they left that part out. the mommy daddy wrestling.
Oh.
Which really they should have been left in as like a teachable moment, like when at night if you hear noises, you don't go in. Door is locked for a reason. Don't unlock the door, okay? If there's a sock on the doorknob.
I gotta tell you, I really reading this. I recently 100%ed Hades 2, which is an amazing game. And Odysseus is a character in it, as is Circe and the Cyclops. And
Nice.
Odysseus, it's funny to hear him talk about his family. Because your character's like, oh, so when you got back, was it everything you thought it would be, family life? He's like, when I got back, Penelope and Telemachus, we had a complicated relationship. He's like, I'm going to be honest, I maybe had a bit more fun not being with them. But
he didn't even know Telemachus.
No.
Telemachus was like a baby when he left.
He's like, that kid grew up to be like, I don't know. Because a couple of people do say this to Telemachus, and I'm kind of interested in the thoughts too, especially coming from Norse myth. A couple of people are like, why are you letting these guys do this?
What am I going to do? Kick all of their asses?
Poison them?
I feel like that would be violating guest right.
I mean, it's more of a guest suggestion. Guest guidelines.
Guest guidelines. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Calypso is the Flying Dutchman's wife in Pirates of the Caribbean.
I noticed that. Do you think it's supposed to be the same Calypso?
I can't imagine who else it would be.
How'd she get out there?
That's a good question, man. Continental drift, just like that island.
Okay. So is like Zeus canon?
It's a good question.
Is bright-eyed
Hades isn't canon because
bright-eyed Pallas Athena, is she canon? I mean, she could be anyone. She could be with us right now. She could be me.
you're not bright-eyed enough.
Yeah, you really see that in my dead eyes. You know I'm not Athena.
Yeah, you know how Telemachus and Odysseus they're constantly like sensing like I think that's Athena. Yeah, I know you're not.
Well, there's always like somebody running around with this weird boyish exuberance that like Athena's constantly bopping all over the place. I've always imagined Athena as being like more mature, I guess. And it's not that she's like immature, but she's just like, I don't know, she's just very boyish.
Yeah, that's the ultimate sign of maturity. Women becoming boys.
No, she's just always like, she always turns into like some young dude and like, let's go, Telemachus. We got to go get those suitors. We got to go get you here. We got to get you there. We got to go do this, that, and the other thing. And then she's running across the ocean and running to Olympus and running to go talk to Odysseus and running back to talk to Telemachus. And I don't know. You're right. I don't have that energy to be Athena. I drove down the street to pick up Chinese. Quarter mile away. I would have taken my bike, but my bicycle was in a closet and there was some stuff in front of the closet and I didn't want to take it out.
Yeah, that's not that Athena energy, that's for sure. All right.
Well, we got to thank our patrons. And I want to
Jacob Lansky.
Is this what you voted for? Is this what you wanted him to do? You do whatever you want, but is this what you wanted? Is this what you wanted, Jacob? You wanted him to cheat? It says more about you, I guess.
Hey, it said we could pick our own
translation
guidelines.
It said translation. It didn't say we could pick our own.
It's kind of like a
reimagining.
It's kind of like a translation. It's translating your book into like plain English.
No, it's not. It's making it up. And I hate when people do that, by the way.
It's its own new oral tradition. The person who did this oral tradition was really, trying to finish the speech in less than 3 hours.
Oh, it's a new oral tradition, so we could read it on the podcast verbatim and not get a... Yeah, that's what I thought. So, John Bierce, author of The Mage Errant, which is heavily inspired by Greek mythology. John is probably struggling with this one, as I have to retell it, is a nymph and elf. Is everything Tolkien at the end of the day. That's all I know. But yeah, John's an actual author. The Rack, More Gods Than Stars, Mage Errant, check him out. Mage Errant coming to a bookstore near you. He's getting a proper bookstore release. And oh god, the Jamie the Gravy Man, if you want the gravy, I can't wait for your review of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. It looks like Batman. The only frame I've seen is a helmet that looks like Batman. So yeah, let me know how that goes. I'm not going to watch it. Then we've got Isekai Sensei Sama of the That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcast. Is the Odyssey an Isekai? Is getting stuck on an island with a sexy witch an Isekai? That sounds like an Isekai.
That does sound.
It sounds like the premise
like
of most of the
isekai.
Isekais. I'm talking.
Oh, hell yeah, Matt Damon is Odysseus. That's exactly who I would have cast.
Because you really want somebody who conveys intelligence. Yeah. You want somebody with like a spark in their eye, like Matt Damon, to be Odysseus. Yeah. Oh Christ, I'm.
And Tom Holland is Telemechus. Hell yeah! Where do I sign up?
Who's Bright-Eyed Palace Athena? You know who Bright-Eyed Palace Athena might be? Spooky Shy. Shy's off screen here saying, "Yeah, that's right. I'll kill you." Spooky Shy with a Y, over on TikTok, and also the Words About Occult Books podcast. Oh gosh, have I forgotten anyone?
No, that sounds right.
That sounds right. All right. Join us next time when we get into like the really exciting parts that everybody remembers, and I'm going to retell them and not understand most of it.
Don't worry, I'll be there to help.
Yeah, but Nate's going to be there with the context. At the very least, he's going to have a picture of what it looked like.